All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 28th business meeting of the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, it's 7:30. Call the meeting to order. The entire board is present. I'd like to welcome our new members, returning old members, and ready to get to work. We're going to start out with, actually, we've got just a real quick cleanup from last board meeting. I'm going to invite Cliff St. Pierre to the mic for just a minute. Cliff? And we'd hope to get this in the last meeting, but he has some data from Mr. Clark. Go ahead, Cliff.
Yes, I'm chair of the Open Space Committee, and I'm here tonight substituting for Woody Clark. Our Dump the Junk program was very successful, as it usually is. We managed to collect about close to about $1,245 from the sale of scrap. And Mr. Fritz, who owns Fritz Enterprises, provided the dumpster. So as per our prior programs and prior procedures, we donate that money to a couple of charitable organizations on the island. And this year, because of the amount of money that we collected, we were able to divide the child in half, so to speak, and give half of it to the Grosse Ile school system to be used for their middle school sports program for underprivileged children, and also to establish a scholarship fund for underprivileged children. This presentation was made at the last school board meeting and was made by our student liaison, Mitch Lewis, who was in the 9th grade, who did a usual fine job of presenting that. The other half, we are contributing to the Grosse Ile Animal Shelter, and I'd like to give her the check now, if I can, for $623.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that very much.
Yes, yes.
I'd like to introduce our other two guests. Julia, you're going to introduce your...
Sure. This is Catherine Kostroff on my left, Allison Gadd on my right, two of our volunteers at the shelter. Couldn't do it without the volunteers. Max in my coat here, one of our recent guests. He actually has an adopter lined up. I want to remind folks that the dog licenses are available. They're $6 until the end of January. And also on the Township website, there is a tab regarding coyote safety. And if everybody could take a look at that, and we're working on a PSA that will be coming out soon as well. Thanks very much.
Hey. Thank you, Ms. Cordes.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see. Moving on. This is a little out of sequence. So, are there any proposed amendments or additions, deletions to tonight's agenda? Okay, with none offered, those in favor of approving the agenda as published, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, that's right, because those all came in late. It's been a mess. You know, like I haven't been doing this for 8 years and relearn it every time. So, all right, with that, then, thank you, Mrs. Gray. We do need. Okay, we have one action item. We're gonna.
Oh, okay.
Okay, remember? Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'll throw the. Let's see. Action item. I'd like to add. Request the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees add action item number 2, appointment to the Planning Commission. That's my motion.
Support.
Okay. Discussion. Those in favor of adding action item number 2, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Mr. Budney.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add an appointment to, this would be action item number 3, make an appointment to the Public Service Commission to fill a vacancy.
Support. Discussion among the board. Those in favor of adding action item 3, the appointment to the Public Service Commission, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. That will be added to tonight's agenda. Any other additions, deletions to tonight's agenda?
Addition
to the consent agenda.
I'd like to move to add to the consent agenda item number 2 to adopt the annual Township Board attendance at holiday events resolution.
Support.
Okay, moved by Clerk O'Connor, seconded by Trustee Budney. Discussion among the board. Okay, with none offered, those in favor of adding consent agenda item number 2, holiday attendance by board members, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. That will be added. Okay, last chance. Any other additions, deletions proposed for tonight's agenda? Okay, with none offered. Pick up where I left off. Those in favor of approving tonight's agenda, please signify, as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the agenda stands amended. With that, public comment on tonight's agenda. Okay, with none offered, we'll move into tonight's consent agenda.
All right, I'm going to
Stand in, fill in.
stand in for Mr. Van Os. Let me get it up here. Motion to approve consent agenda 16-069, which includes the minutes from the November 14th, 2016 regular meeting, and the motion for Township Board attendance at holiday events resolution.
Okay, moved by Trustee Buddy, seconded by Treasurer Van Os. Any discussion among the board? None offered. Those in favor of adding action item 2 to tonight's consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That will be added to the consent agenda. All right, how am I doing? That's okay. Further additions, deletions to tonight's agenda. Okay.
That was the consent
That was
agenda,
it.
so we wanted
That was
the
it.
approval
Okay.
of the consent agenda.
I'm lost.
Yeah, I know.
I got to catch my breath. Actually, I should bring my glasses. It'd be a lot easier. All right, consent agenda being addressed. Let's move into tonight's action items.
Okay.
And let's see.
I have enough light here. I'm okay.
Jim, you don't drive with these, do you? Actually, these work pretty well. Thank you, Jim. I won't make this mistake again. Okay. Since we haven't assigned this yet because we don't have liaisons yet, I'm going to move that the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees approve the appointment of Ms. Jacqueline Snow Davies to the Festival Commission based on the recommendation of the Festival Commission for the term ending August 31st, 2019.
Support.
Okay, I'll give the second to Jim Budney. For those unaware, if you've ever seen the classic car shows we have at the festival, Jackie runs all those. She's kind of a hot rod lady. She's got a red Chevelle. It's pretty cool. And the chair of the Festival Commission really wants her on board. So,
Well, and Jackie is also the property manager now at the senior housing complex. We ran into her on Hooray for Halloween, and I know she's very active there too, so she's really well tied into the community. I think she'll be a great addition.
She also is on the Zoning Board of Appeals and does a fine job. So she's a hard worker. I'm sure she'd be good.
we'll get some more work out of her, assuming it passes. Okay, other comments from the board? None offered. Those in favor of approving the appointment of Ms. Jacqueline Snow Davies to the Festival Commission for the term ending August 31st, 2019, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. Welcome aboard, Jackie. All right. Action item number 2. I move that the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees approve the appointment of Mr. Eric Rankin to the Planning Commission to fill a vacancy from 2000, with a term of 2014 to 2017, and that's my recommendation as Township Supervisor. Okay, moved by Supervisor, seconded by Treasurer Van Os. What can we say? Eric Rankin served on the Planning Commission. He was the liaison of the Planning Commission during his 4-year term as Township Clerk. I can't think of a person I'd rather have on the Planning Commission than him. Comments from the board?
Agreed.
All right. with only positive information put forward. Those in favor of approving Mr. Rankin to the Planning Commission to fill a vacancy and to fill the 2014 to 2017 term, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. Welcome. Thanks again, Eric, for continuing to serve. Mr. Budney.
Yes, thank you. I have a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Lenny Pistestris to the Public Service Commission to fill a vacancy that runs from 2014 through 2017 term length based on the recommendation of the Public Service Commission Chair.
Okay, moved by Trustee Buddy, seconded by Treasurer Van Oss.
We, of course, had a vacancy due to Mr. Nelson's election to the board. Mr. Pedestris has an engineering background. He's been has years of experience in the automotive industry. He understands systems and processes and should fill that void quite well.
Other comments from the board?
Is he here tonight, Jim, or?
Not.
Okay, just curious.
It's going to be a rough seat to fill, but I'm sure you can handle it.
I don't, yeah.
Okay.
He can only try.
Anybody else want to get a shot at him? Yeah. All right. With those in favor of approving the appointment of Mr. Lenny Pistestris to the Public Service Commission for the term 2014 through 2017, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. Welcome aboard, Lenny. That concludes tonight's action items. With that, we'll move to the clerk's report. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Well, hello, everybody. Kind of nice to be back. I want to thank everybody who helped me get back here, and again, promise you that I will do my best to move this board forward and work with these gentlemen, keep them straight when it comes to township rules, and in that keeping, Sharon and I are, I hate to use the word old, but we're an old team. We've worked together for many years, and she's already prepared a records management guidelines for the board. She has done this for every board, I think for the past 3 terms that I'm aware of, talking about emails, talking about paper records, and it applies to everybody, including people who serve on our boards and commissions, that the records that they receive, the notes that they make are actually property of the township and need to be returned to the township when their service is over. And any action items, et cetera, that's always needs to be kept in the hands of the department managers and the township manager and the department heads and the offices of the officers. So I'm just really happy to know that our routine is still in place, right? So that's about it for now. We haven't had much time to do a whole lot of clerking. If you're following the news, things might get interesting for the clerk's department. There has, in my memory of like almost 20 years of being with the township, never been a touchwood recount. But this may be a historic event, and we, if it happens, we will make sure that it happens properly, and that you can rest assured it happens properly. So never a dull moment. That's it from the clerk's chair, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Treasurer.
Yeah, I'll just ask Ann to read my report.
I'm going to do the treasurer's report on behalf of Mr. Van Ots. The October 2016 investment report for the Groseal Township shows a total of $15,339,647 invested. These accounts generated $3,960 for the month, an average of 0.4%. If anyone needs more detail, you can always go to Groseal online for a complete schedule. It's that time again, right around Christmas. 2016 winter property tax bills will be mailed by the end of this week. If you do not receive a tax bill, please contact the Treasurer's Office to confirm that we have the proper mailing address. Mortgage companies holding customer accounts receive a duplicate copy. You'll receive a duplicate copy when requested. If you haven't recently if you originally purchased a home or have recently refinanced, you may want to inquire to make sure you get that bill or that your mortgage company will probably get that bill for payment. 2016 winter tax bills are due February 14th. Eligible residents can apply for an extension of the winter tax due date of February 14th, 2017 to April 30th. Deferment applications are available online at the Treasurer's Office. And just a reminder that Julie said the 2017 pet tags are now available. They'll be $6 until January 31st. After that, they'll be increased to $12.
Nothing.
Okay. You have a question? Yeah. Ms. O'Connor. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just have a question. In our packets today, in our electronic packets, Treasurer Van Oss and Finance Director Darsnick provided us with a copy of the investment report, and it was really great information. It outlined where our money is, what it's earning, and what it is being earmarked for or what it has been designated for. I looked on the website. I may not have looked carefully enough, but I'm wondering, is that and can that kind of a report be made available to the public?
It's on the website.
It is on the website.
Yep.
What is it? Is it named something different than what it was in our packet? Like in
I will check that. I don't know exactly
Okay.
what it's named, but I know.
I figured it had to be there,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
Okay.
okay, month-end report. Okay, because that was great information, and I know sometimes people come before the board and ask us that information, and it'd be good just that they can look it up. So it's called month-end report. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's see. Let's move on now to trustee reports, and we'll start with Mr. Budney. Trustee Budney.
Thank you. Nothing to report. I'd just like to say I look forward to working with this board for the next 4 years. I think we have a good group. I think we'll get some things done, and I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. I was lucky enough to be able to travel to Montana to see my sister, who I hadn't seen for a couple of years, so we had a good time, and I hope everybody else did.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Budney. Let's see. Trustee Bletcher. Carl.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would echo Jim's thoughts about working with the entire board, and I also like to say that I very much appreciate the fine packet and the instructions that Deputy Clerk Sharon sent out today. It made it very easy to follow the program and to download. I appreciate that. I have had the pleasure of working with Ann and Dale for the last 2 decades, and I look forward to working with all of us together and all of us that are employed at the township. It is going to be a great 4 years. I know that you do great work. I've had the pleasure of working with you through the Police Commission for 28 years, 4 years on DPS before that, and you guys do a real good job. And Sharon, thanks again for making things so simple. We do have some immediate concerns, certainly the coyotes. I have been on the Police Commission while we had coyotes and before we had coyotes. I've lived here all of my life. I remember a time when we had a lot of fox, raccoon, and even pheasants here. And they are gone, and now we have coyotes, and the coyotes are a concern. I promise you those are going to be addressed at the Police Commission. We meet the second Tuesday of every month, 7 o'clock at the Public Safety Building. You're more than welcome to attend. I know that Chief Porcerelli is in contact with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Under the old theory and current theory, these are all the king's animals, and we're not free to go out and eliminate them or eradicate them, so we are going to be working with the DNR to see what exactly we can do. It's not a new problem. There have been communities throughout Michigan and throughout the country that have had this problem. It is new to us, though, in terms of the extent of the contact. They no longer seem to have a fear of humans, and they certainly have destroyed some of our pets, and it is not acceptable. So we're going to do whatever we can. If you have any questions, any thoughts, want to come to the meeting, please feel free. Second Tuesday every month, 7 p.m., Public Safety Building. Thank you.
Good. That's going to cut down my report quite a bit, so thanks, Carl. Let you take the heat. Okay, Trustee Balvesto. Tom.
No, I'd like to
kind of go over what the other trustees said about the Thanksgiving. I know I enjoyed mine. It was peaceful. It was quiet. Chief, what are our numbers right now as far as fire and rescue calls for the year? Yeah, so we're pushing 600 calls. It's end of November. We got a whole month ahead of us. So it's been a busy year for our volunteer firemen. Great bunch of guys. That's all I have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Malvesto. Trustee Nelson. Go ahead, Jim.
This may be called either leaving the best for last or the worst for last, but I will make this very short. First of all, I'd like to echo what everybody said in reference to this board working together. I think it should be a lot of fun. That's not all bad. It's a lot of fun as well as productive as well. So fun is good. And I took long notes here. Anyway, I wanted to thank the voters for their support of me in the primary and the general election. I was excited to do this. It was on my bucket list, and I got lucky and got elected. And the third thing is I want to wish everybody in the room very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Jim. Mr. Assorti, Township Attorney, any nice and quiet. Excellent. Mr. Ream?
Full report, sir.
Okay. With a little help from Jim's glasses, just a few odds and ends. Good news from Grosse Ile Township Schools. I don't know if you saw this or not, but this was reported in the News Herald. Grosse Ile Township Schools named the safest in the region. There's a good quote from Joanne Lilikesh. The district strives for excellence in all areas of students' well-being, academic, social, and emotional, Joanne said. Safe schools are schools where staff care on a personal level, parents support the efforts of the schools, and the community plays a role in supporting our students. I think that pretty much wraps up or defines the relationship between the community and our schools. Again, safest schools in the region. Good for them. Bridge closures, yeah, that was a hot topic a few days ago. Basically, we usually get notified of planned bridge closures, but not always. So I'm talking mostly about the county bridge. Usually, but not always on the planned closures. Sometimes, but not always, on the unplanned closures. And it's really important our dispatchers know that, because if they're going to be routing an ambulance, that ambulance has to know if it's going to go over the county bridge or they have to go the long way over the toll bridge. But normally we get notified, but not always. I'm trying to improve that communication. I don't have any leverage to make it happen, but we're in pretty good communication with Wayne County. So we'll try to get out more information. When we're aware of a bridge closure or swinging of either of them, we'll push it out on the Grosse Ile app. If you don't have it yet, it's real easy to download. I think we have 2,000 participants now, and let's double and triple that so that we can really get information out to people almost instantaneously. It's a tool I've wanted for years, and we have it, and it's working well, and I'm real proud of it. Chief Porcerelli will be discussing options with Riverview for closures on the county bridge. There was quite a traffic ball up along Jefferson, people trying to get back. Some just gave up and went into Sibley's and took it easy, but which might have been the proper course of action, because we're talking about an hour delay. The other thing is, and Chief isn't here right now, what control do we have over the light on our side of the bridge, intersection of Bridge and Meridian, because I think that was kind of balled up too. People trying to get off the island couldn't really get in the queue. So we'll see what we can do about that and make that work better. Fortunately, Trustee Bletcher covered the coyotes, so I can leave mine out. I'm going to reiterate Trustee Malvesto's previous safety tip for you joggers, walkers, and runners. Okay, it's getting darker earlier. It's staying darker later, and that's going to happen until about December 20th. So please, lights, the little LEDs, they cost next to nothing. Bright clothing, reflective clothing, it's available. It doesn't cost much. And my pet peeve is leave the headphones and the earbuds behind. If you can't hear an automobile coming up behind you or a bicycle or a coyote, you're just giving up that defense mechanism. Leave them at home. Be safe. Be visible. And please, let's not have any pedestrian accidents. And then a bunch of odds and ends. Okay, I love Angela, our DDA director. Lights at Lions, the first annual. There's optimism. Tree decorating at Lions Park. Grosse Ile businesses and special interest groups sponsored and decorated trees to light up Macomb Lions Park. Stop by and see. Some of them are lit already. This was another idea of our DDA directors. She's making progress. Okay, here's one that's important to me. The Grosse Ile Historical Society Holiday Gift Boutique at the Customs House, November 25th. It's already had their grand opening weekend through December 18th, Thursdays through Saturdays. It's going to reopen. They had a great opening weekend. It's going to reopen on Thursday at 4 o'clock. There's a flyer that looks sort of like this in the back of the room if you want to know the times. Hope to see you all there. And really interesting stuff, and they're getting new stuff all the time. Island Glow. Oh, I'm sorry. Letters to Santa dropped off in the big red box on Macomb Commons, and you can't miss it. It's there. Meridian Macomb after Island Glow and before December 20th. Please be sure your child includes name and complete mailing address to get a response from Santa. Moving on to Island Glow, Friday, December 2nd, 2016. Starts at Macomb Commons between 6 and 7 p.m. Entertainment, Children's Choir, Brass Quintet, Grosse Ile High School Marching Band. At 7, Santa arrives by fire truck, and we'll start down Macomb to the tree lighting. At 7:30, the big tree in front of Perdino's, and there'll be a gang there. It's great fun. All right, Dinner with Santa, Monday, December 5th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 at Centennial Farm Activity Room. Come enjoy the dinner, make a craft, have a special visit. It's $12 per person advance, $15 at the door. Now, continuing the Dine Out for Music. Fundraiser to support the Music Boosters will be held also on Monday, December 5th. This fundraiser will be held at Buffalo Wild Wings in Southgate. Senior Holiday Luncheon, Wednesday, December 14th, 12:30 p.m. at Centennial Farm. $10 in advance, tickets only, so they know how much catering to bring in. And administratively, Township Hall closed from December 23rd through the 26th, and December 30th through the 2nd for the holiday seasons. And that concludes my report. I'm sure I forgot something. With that, we'll move on to a brief public comment, 3 minutes, any topic, any person. Mrs. Walker.
Oh, there we went again. Anyways, we had a picture there. Oh. There we go. Cutest cat in the world. Listen, on behalf of the Walker family, we are looking forward to the new board being very active. And that being said, is there something wrong? That being said, I'm thinking something not showing. We were blessed with warm weather this week, a couple weeks, and it was really nice, 70 degrees for the golfers here. And I was wondering, I've got a question for the new board, why the golf course had been closed. Is there any reason for it? I mean, because people wanted to go out and play, and I know people came up to me and said, how come the golf course was closed? And I said, well, I'm not a golfer anymore. And they said, well, we wanted to play, and it was closed, and there's revenue source. And can you tell me? Anybody know?
I don't know.
You don't know why the golf course was closed? But is there a season every year? Or is it after a certain date, or is there?
Depends. How it works with the fertilization.
Okay, because like I said, a couple people asked me, and I said, I'll ask. Okay, and lastly, pet photos with Santa, as we had the cutest pet in the world. I'm not on the board of Tails, but I did volunteer. I did the printing this year, and we were involved in that. So I thought I'd just give you a quick update. It was a big success. They had 92 pets and gross sales of $1,643. And so that was pretty good, even with the Michigan game. So I thought you guys would like that. It was very well attended. A lot of people from on island and off island came. And Tails does a great job. So I just thought I'd say that. And again, cutest cat in the world, Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Oh, I actually have a question. Dale and maybe Tom. I'm just going off what you just said. If the golf course is closed, like sometimes in the winter, you see people playing snow golf or with orange balls and stuff like that on the winter course. Are they allowed to do that? I mean, it seems like it would be really a great opportunity to keep people going on the course. Is there? I always thought there was some sort of mechanism in place that people could play after the main season was over, because I've always seen people play. So I just assumed that there was a mechanism for them to pay to play.
If there's no major maintenance going on and the weather, people are crazy enough to walk, they'll have the winter flags out. What happens this time of year, they're doing winterization, fertilization, special chemical treatments, and we don't have carts, so we get very, very little business. But during the day, depending what's going on, it's always possible for that to happen.
Okay, so just go into the pro shop or go into the rec office?
Yes.
And, okay, because, I mean, that always seems like a nice opportunity for people to get out. Thanks.
Other public comment? I knew we were in the middle of something. Ms. Esposito, did you want to?
Hi, my name is Kim Esposito. For some of you board members that weren't here 2 weeks ago when I got up and spoke. That's my little dog, Chewy. His name was Chewbacca. He was taken from my backyard on my birthday, which was on November 11th, from the fenced-in area. And so I came about 2 weeks ago and spoke to the board. So I just wanted to come and give some updates from my side. So first of all, when the bridge was closed the other day, I went on the Grosse Ile Police Department website to call the police department to find out if they knew anything about why it was closed or when it might open. And while I was out there looking for the phone number, I did see that somebody, whoever maintains that website, did add a section on there about coyote and had some very good information about the coyotes. So I wanted to come in front of the board, acknowledge that that information has been put out there, and I wanted to thank Chief Portarelli, who I guess isn't here tonight, for putting that information on the website, because really it's the only legacy I can leave for my little dog, because I'm obviously not going to get him back. It's just trying to raise awareness to the issue, right? So thank you guys for putting that out there. Something that would be nice if it had drawn my attention there, like a little ticker at the top or some type of icon on the section, let me know there was new information on the page, or just something to draw me there. I mean, I think it caught my eye because obviously we've all talked about coyotes probably more in the last 2 weeks than we have in a while, I'm guessing. But anyway, something else that came to my mind when I was on there, and I know you guys are the best stewards for knowing what to put out there as public information and what not to. But as a resident, I would be interested in knowing if there was like a map or some place where I could report that I've seen a sighting right there on the website instead of having to pick up my phone and call somebody, or if I could see, oh look, most of the sightings or catches or whatever you guys call them seem to be happening on the north side of the island, and maybe I know Julie is tracking that information. Maybe you just could do it for a month. Here's what we've seen in the last month or something like that. I'm not sure really, but that was just a thought that came to my mind when I was on the site. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that Opportunity Grosse Ile and Facebook page and Civic Issues Facebook page had shared some information about my dog and the coyotes, and et cetera. And we got some pretty good comments from those. A lot of people shared that information. There was one comment in particular that stuck out to me, which is another Grosse Ile resident who 2 weeks or the week prior to when she made the comment. So when I looked at the date that her comment hit their page, it would have been the same week that my dog was taken. And for the new board members, the week that my dog was taken, there were 5 animals total in that 2-week time period that had been taken by coyotes. She was walking her dog on Macomb Street, and per her comment on that page, she had a coyote the size of a German Shepherd cross the street by her. So that was on Macomb Street. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there so that you guys could know, because I'm sure not everybody goes to those Facebook pages as well. And then 2 more things. The last time I was here, Brian, you had mentioned that you guys do collaborate with some other downriver communities, that you guys have a meeting.
we have a Downriver Community Conference yes.
Yeah, you had mentioned that you would get this on the agenda for the December meeting.
It won't be on the agenda, but I will bring it up as a discussion item among the mayors along the channel in this area, and see what if we can collaborate, if we can get a mutual support, something. We'll see what if they're having problems. I'm sure they are also.
Yes.
And see what we can cook up together.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And then the last point is that you had mentioned when we were here 2 weeks ago, maybe trying to get the DNR to come to Grosse Ile, listen to residents' concerns, and try to plan something. If you could just give us an update on what the status of that is.
Okay. Well, right now, Chief Porcerelli is talking with the DNR and trying to see what we can do, know what we can't do, what's the best course of action under the circumstances. So once we start moving in the direction, I guess probably before we get any final plans. Again, the DNR is the stewards. The animals belong to the people of the state of Michigan. The DNR are the ones steward them. We're just co-inhabitants of the island with them. So we really can't do anything as a community plan without the Department of Natural Resources approval. We'll see how that's going with the chief. And again, he's been in contact, and we discussed some of the possibilities earlier. And we'll see how that goes. And when we're ready to make a presentation with a course of action, sure, we'll have them interview. They do like to interact with the residents. That's what they're here for. They work for us.
And then one more thing I'd like to throw out there as a suggestion. If you want to talk to Julie Cordes and see what her thoughts are, if there's any interest at all. I had my daughter's school teacher mention to me she would be interested in somebody coming to the school and speaking about what children should do, or what the teachers, if they're taking the kids out to the playroom, what they should do if they see not just a coyote but any type of wild animal, what the proper response should be, and should they call and report it, or just that type of information. I had a teacher say to me that she thought that would be helpful information. So, all right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. All right. Kim, do you have the Grosse Ile app downloaded?
I did it today.
Okay. Well, open it up and go to the Tell Me button, and that's your opportunity to make a report to Animal Control. Go to the Tell Me, and it'll give you Animal Control as the top button. Tap that, and it'll give you an opportunity to put in what you saw, and it geomaps the location.
Okay.
So it's already there.
I did report to Julie. I did see a coyote in my neighbor's backyard. My son saw it on Thanksgiving Day, and I did text that to Julie as well. So.
Okay. All right, and that goes for every. If you don't have the GI Connect app, please get it. It's just really a useful tool. And again, we have the opportunity right there for you to make these reports.
I was just going to ask you, does the map? That's a great feature. And but does it then also provide a map that people, maybe we look at some, making sure that map is available, like she said during Opportunity Grosse Ile, that people can pull up a map and see, some of the areas where that's a great use of that. And Facebook too, because people, I guess it's all tied in, location is tied in to the Facebook. So, it does show up on the map. That's
when
really
you do
cool.
make a report, it'll show where you're making the report from. Now, if you saw it at one end of the island, you went home, that's really not giving much in. But you have the opportunity to put that in the text of the message. I saw a grizzly bear on the crossing the toll bridge. I threw that out because the gist of our conversation has been coyotes. But again, for the schools, for a raccoon to be out during the daytime means there's something wrong with that raccoon. The same with a possum. These are all nocturnal animals. A raccoon seen during the daylight just strolling through an open field is probably rabid, and that's a big. We have no reports. I don't want to get anybody worried because I haven't heard any reports on this island, but there's more than coyotes, and we'll get more information out, and we'll work with Juliana. She's very knowledgeable. So, thanks for being here tonight. Who else? I'm sorry. Any additional public comment? Mr. Pilkington, don't hide behind the screen. I can't.
I was hiding behind Mrs. Esposito, actually. Has anybody mentioned that tomorrow is Giving Tuesday?
We have not.
We have Black Friday. We have Cyber Monday. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, which is fairly new. But for
anybody that's watching, it's as we go onto Amazon and watch all these home shopping shows and think, oh, geez, I've got to get that new, motorized something, to give to one of my friends. Think about your nonprofits that add so much value on Groseal. Think about maybe giving as a gift a membership or a donation in your name on behalf of somebody for Christmas to our nonprofits that do so much, and whether it's Kiwanis, whether it's Rotary, whether it's the Athletic Boosters or Tails or the Music Boosters, or these are all great organizations that bring wonderful value to our community. They are all under pressure, I think, and to deliver more value. And think about supporting them and making that support of them part of what you give as a Christmas present this year. And certainly I think a lot of those groups, they're listed on the Township website, they're listed elsewhere. It's easy enough. The cost is usually very, very low. In some cases, $25. And it would make a great gift and a great way to support our community overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pilkington. Other public comment? All right, we're going to move on. We're going to be busy the rest of the night, but this time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Budney. Jump in, somebody. So, okay, that was loud. Support by Trustee Bletcher. Those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Call the meeting adjourned at 8:11. Let's meet in the upstairs conference room, and let's take 10. I can get my